All right, everybody. Welcome to another deep dive. You ready for this one?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
We're going to be talking about Amara, and well, she's this young woman who basically built this robot, and she gets a job offer from Elon Musk.
It's a pretty remarkable story.
I know, right?
But
We've got like all this stuff, articles online, chatter, the whole 9 yards about her whole journey, and
yeah, it's pretty well documented.
so let's just dive right in.
Okay, so Amara, what's really interesting is she didn't have any formal training in robotics.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no fancy degree or anything.
Wow.
She was just 19 when she built this robot.
19. That's like,
Yeah, and get this, she built it using scrap parts that she found lying around.
I read that somewhere, like she was going to junkyards and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
That's crazy.
I mean, talk about resourcefulness, right?
And then she just walks up to Elon Musk at like a Tesla event
I know.
and asks him for a job.
It's pretty bold.
Bold. I would be terrified.
I think a lot of people would be.
I wouldn't even be able to.
But it really does challenge, what people think of as qualifications.
Yeah.
It's not always about having a degree. It's about showing what you can do.
That's true. That's true.
And, Elon Musk, he was really intrigued by her initiative, and he gave her a challenge.
Oh, yeah. What was that?
He said, improve your robot in 30 days so it can solve an actual problem, a real-world problem.
30 days.
Yeah. And if she could do that, he said he would think about hiring her.
Wow. That's a lot of pressure.
Talk about a high-stakes challenge,
Yeah.
right?
And so before we get into all that, let's back up a little bit.
Okay, yeah.
Amara comes from like a pretty modest background.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She didn't have, access to all the best resources or the best education.
Yeah.
And her community didn't really, understand her passion for technology.
I read in one article somebody told her, this robot stuff is a waste of time. Get a real job. Ouch.
Yeah, there were definitely people who discouraged her.
That's heartbreaking. But I guess it shows, how hard it can be when you want to do something different.
It's definitely a barrier for a lot of people.
For sure. So she could have given up, but instead she decided to focus her energy on a problem in her community.
A very practical problem.
Yeah. What was it?
Trash sorting and recycling.
Oh, wow.
Which, when you think about, it's a really important issue.
Yeah, we all have to deal with trash.
It's tedious, it's often overlooked, but it has a huge impact on the environment.
For sure. What if we could, automate it and make it more efficient?
Exactly.
Right.
That was Amara's thinking.
That's pretty smart.
It is. And it makes me wonder, what about our listeners?
Yeah.
If you had a robot, what problem would you try to solve?
That's a good question. Think about that for a second.
What would be your trash sorting moment?
So Amara's facing all this doubt, working alone in her garage.
Right. It must have felt pretty isolating at times.
Yeah, definitely. And then there's this, turning point in her story.
There is. It's when she meets Mr. Harris.
Who's Mr. Harris?
He's a retired engineer.
Okay.
And he becomes Amara's mentor.
Oh, wow. So he kind of takes her under his wing.
Exactly. This
Yeah.
meeting really changes everything for her.
It's like the classic mentor story, right? You see it everywhere.
It is a classic.
But it always works.
Yeah, it never gets old.
So what did Mr. Harris, bring to the table?
Well, he had tons of experience in robotics and engineering.
Oh, I bet.
And he saw potential in Amara.
Yeah.
He saw her talent, her passion, her drive, and he decided to help her.
That's awesome.
He wanted to help her, refine her skills and become even better.
I bet that meant the world to her, having someone believe in her like that.
I'm sure it did.
Okay, so we've got the underdog story, we've got the supportive mentor,
Right.
and we've got this super high pressure challenge.
What happens next?
Well, Amara starts working day and night with Mr. Harris's help to try and improve her robot.
Yeah, she's got this deadline looming over her head.
Yeah, and the pressure's building.
It's getting intense.
That's like crunch time.
Exactly. There's still so much to do.
The articles say she was barely sleeping.
Yeah, she's totally dedicated.
And she was just driven by, this fear of failing and letting everyone down.
It's a lot to carry.
Can you imagine?
I can only imagine.
So presentation day arrives.
The moment for truth.
Amara at the Tesla campus, standing in front of Elon Musk and a whole room full of important people.
Yeah, a whole room full of tech industry giants.
What do you think was going through her head?
I mean, it's like a total David and Goliath situation.
Yeah.
This young woman from, a modest background facing one of the most powerful people in tech.
I would have just fainted right there.
It must have been a mix of nerves and excitement and probably a little bit of imposter syndrome too.
Oh, for sure. So she starts her presentation.
And the moment arrives, she switches on the robot. It starts working perfectly. It's amazing.
The way
It's sorting through the trash just like it's supposed to. Recyclables, compost, regular trash.
it's actually doing it.
It's doing it.
Get out of here.
I know, it's incredible. The crowd's going wild.
I love that.
Everyone's cheering.
So she did it.
It looks like it, but then
Uh-oh. There's a but.
there's always a but.
What happened?
Right as the crowd's going wild, the robot suddenly freezes.
Oh, no.
It starts making this horrible grinding noise,
That doesn't sound good.
and then it just stops. Dead silence.
Oh, man. Talk about a mood killer.
It's a total disaster.
All those weeks of work, all that sacrifice just gone like that.
It's devastating. You can feel the tension just reading about it.
Poor Amara. What happened next?
Well, what Elon Musk does is really unexpected.
What did he do?
He doesn't, dismiss her or anything.
No.
No, he walks up to her and asks her a question.
What did he ask?
He says, "Do you know what caused the problem?"
Interesting.
Hmm.
He could have just, brushed her off and said, better luck next time.
He could have, but he didn't. He gives her a chance to show what she can do.
He's testing her.
He's definitely testing her.
Yeah.
He wants to see if she can problem solve on the spot.
Smart.
And Amara doesn't hesitate.
Really?
She immediately tells him what's wrong. She says the motor overheated because there was too much load.
Oh, I see. Like too much weight or something, and the motor just burned out.
Exactly.
Does that happen a lot with robots?
It's a pretty common problem. Yeah. Motors have their limits.
Right.
And if you push them too far, they can break down.
Makes sense.
But the fact that Amara could figure out the problem so quickly shows, how much she understands about robotics.
Yeah.
She's not just a builder, she's a problem solver.
And then what does Elon Musk do?
He does something nobody expects. He
Mhm.
hands her a tool,
No way.
and he says, "Fix it."
Right there in front of everybody.
Right there on the spot.
Wow.
Talk about a trial by fire, right?
Yeah. Could you imagine?
I mean, all eyes on her, the pressure's on.
And her dream job is hanging in the balance.
Did she choke?
Well.
Not even close. Remember, Amara spent hours and hours in her garage, tinkering, figuring things out,
Right.
facing setbacks, finding solutions.
Okay.
She knows this robot inside and out.
That's true. So what does she do?
She gets to work.
Just like that.
Yeah. Steady hands. Total focus.
Wow. I bet the room was silent.
You can bet it was. Everybody watching, waiting, holding their breath.
It's like one of those movie scenes.
Totally. Except with incredibly high stakes.
So she's fixing this robot.
And it takes time. The sources all say it felt like forever.
Oh, man.
She's replacing the motor. She's recalibrating things.
That's a lot of pressure.
But she's not just randomly messing around.
Right.
She knows what she's doing.
She diagnosed the problem.
That's what all that time in the garage taught her. It's like that real-world experience that you just can't get from a book.
Exactly. And then finally,
Yeah.
the robot springs back to life.
No way.
Picks up right where it left off, sorting the trash perfectly.
Oh, man. I bet she was so relieved.
I can only imagine what a comeback.
So what happened? Did everybody cheer?
Oh, yeah. The crowd goes wild. Cheers and applause, relief, admiration.
It's like the classic underdog story. Everybody loves that.
They all love a happy ending.
Yeah.
And what about Elon Musk?
Yeah, what did he think?
He was impressed. He goes up on stage and he praises Amara.
For her ingenuity, her perseverance. And he says this, I'm quoting here, "This is what innovation looks like. It's not about fancy labs or degrees. It's about passion, determination, and the courage to solve real problems."
Wow. That's pretty powerful coming from Elon Musk.
Right. He's all about pushing boundaries, disrupting industries.
So for him to say that about Amara, that's huge.
It's a powerful moment, It goes beyond just robotics.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing potential, seeing talent in unexpected places.
Valuing skills over credentials.
Exactly.
So I'm guessing he offered her the job.
You bet he did. He offered her a job at Tesla.
What kind of job?
He wants her to help develop the robot further,
Mm,
turn it into something that can really change the world
amazing. It's like a Cinderella story.
for the tech world.
It really is. But it's more than just about Amara.
Right.
It shows there's a shift happening in the industry.
There is. It's not all about traditional hiring anymore.
Right.
It's about showing what you can do, having that hunger to learn.
So you don't need to come from a certain background or have a certain degree.
Not necessarily.
That's inspiring.
It is.
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder how many other brilliant minds are out there.
Yeah.
People with so much potential.
Just waiting to be discovered.
Exactly. What if we as a society started looking for that?
Instead of just focusing on pedigree.
It's something to think about.
It is. So we've seen Amara face doubt, overcome obstacles, and ultimately succeed.
What a journey.
But what does it all mean for our listeners?
That's the question, isn't it? Amara's story, it's a beacon of hope.
Yeah.
It shows that even if you don't have a lot of resources,
Or if people doubt you.
you can still achieve amazing things with passion and perseverance.
It's like she's reminding us that we all have the power to make a difference,
We all have something to contribute,
to solve problems and achieve our dreams.
no matter where we come from or what challenges we face.
And it shows the importance of mentorship,
For sure.
finding people who believe in you, who want to help you grow.
Absolutely. It makes a huge difference.
And let's not forget the power of finding a problem that's worth solving.
Right. Amara didn't just build any robot.
No, she focused on something that could help her community and the environment.
She wanted to make things better.
That's what it's all about, right?
Innovation thrives when we're trying to make a difference.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Amara's amazing story, I have a question for you.
Okay.
What will your contribution be?
What problem are you going to solve?
What impact are you going to make on the world?
Don't underestimate the power of your ideas, your passions, your actions.
We need more people like Amara.
more innovators, more dreamers who are willing to push the boundaries.
And remember, we want to hear from you. Share your thoughts, your ideas.
Your robot solutions, whatever sparks your imagination.
Use the hashtag #DeepDiveRobotChallenge, and let's keep this conversation going.
And make sure to tune in for our next deep dive.
We'll be exploring a whole new topic.
But it'll be just as interesting and inspiring.
Until then, keep exploring, keep questioning.
And keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
See you in the next deep dive.
You know, it's incredible when you think about it. Amara building this robot in her garage.
I know, right?
Like, it wasn't some big fancy lab or anything.
Oh.
It was just her and her ideas and a pile of scrap parts.
It really changes how you think about innovation, doesn't it?
Totally.
Yeah.
We always think you need, like, tons of money and resources.
Right. Big institutions.
But Amara proves you can make something amazing anywhere.
You really can.
And you know what else I thought was interesting?
What's that?
The whole thing with her community.
Oh, yeah.
At first, like, everybody doubted her.
They didn't get it.
They didn't understand her passion for building this robot.
It's tough when you're trying to be different,
Yeah.
when you don't fit in with what everyone else is doing.
But she didn't let it stop her.
That's the key.
She used that negativity, like, as fuel to keep going.
And in the end, she ended up inspiring those same people.
I know, right? It's like when she succeeded.
It was a win for everyone.
Yeah, it was a win for anybody who's ever felt like their dreams were too big or too different.
Or too weird.
Exactly.
And that's what I love about this whole story.
What do you mean?
It's not just about robots and technology. It's about the human spirit.
It's about never giving up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And about how one person's determination can make a difference.
It's pretty powerful stuff.
It really is. So as we wrap up this deep dive into Amara's incredible journey, I want to leave you with this.
Okay.
What's your contribution going to be?
What problem are you going to solve?
How are you going to make your mark on the world?
Don't underestimate yourself.
Yeah.
Your ideas, your passion, your willingness to make things happen.
We need more people like Amara out there.
More innovators, more dreamers who are willing to change the world.
And remember, we want to hear from you.
Yeah, share your thoughts, your ideas.
Your robot solutions, whatever's got you fired up.
Use that hashtag #DeepDiveRobotChallenge.
Let's keep talking about this stuff.
Absolutely.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning.
Keep pushing the boundaries.
See you in the next deep dive.